Hello and welcome to Sarvin Style Coding. Have you ever deleted a Docker container and suddenly you realize all your database data or your log files will disappear? This is one of the biggest mistakes beginners make when learning Docker. The Docker containers are temporary, which means all the data stored inside the Docker container can be disappear at the moment the Docker containers are removed. In real-world application, that is a huge problem. In this video, we're going to solve it by using the Docker volumes. So if you want to stop losing Docker data and start creating production-ready Docker containers, let's get started. In this part of our Docker course, we're going to talk about Docker volumes. A volume is a storage that exists outside of the Docker. It can be stored on host machine or even on a cloud. So why it is so important? Because containers are naturally temporary. Files inside the container are stored in a temporary writable layers, and when a container gets removed, the layer is removed too, and which means all files data stored inside the container are lost. This becomes a serious problem in real-world projects. Imagine your database is running inside a container, or users upload files. Their files are located inside the container and logs are being stored also inside the container. So if the container is deleted, all of this data disappears and we do not have access to them anymore. Fortunately, Docker provides a solution for this problem, and it is storing data outside the container. That is exactly what Docker volumes do. Volumes allow us to persist data even after containers are removed. And also easily create backups and also share data between multiple containers. Now let me show you the problem practically. In the previous sections, we created a Docker Compose file with 4 containers, a web container, which is a React.js frontend, and an API container, which is the Node.js backend, and a MongoDB container and Mongo Express. Now let's start the project by using docker compose up build d. As you see, all the containers are image are built and created. Now if I go to the Mongo Express UI, as you can see, I create a new database named user_db, and inside this database I create a new collection which is called users. Now inside my simple application I'm adding a user named Sarvin. Now let's check it. Everything done correctly. As you see, the user Sarvin is inside my collection. Now if we came back to our terminal and stop this container by running docker compose down, as you see, all the containers are removed. And if I start this containers again, if I go back to Mongo Express, as you can see, my database is deleted. Even my collection and the data inside the collection are deleted because we don't use volumes and all the data are stored inside the container, and because we delete the container, we remove the container files and itself are removed, so we lost our data. For solving the problem, let's use Docker volumes, but before that, let's open a terminal again, and inside the terminal let's run docker volume. Here you see the list of available commands. For example, here we have create, which create a volume. We have inspect to view the detail of a volume, and also ls to see list of the volume, rm and prone to remove volumes. Let's start by creating a new volume. I create a volume by docker volume create command, and here I specify a name which is Sarvin _ data. Now let's see the list of the volumes with docker volume ls command, and as you can see, we have some unknown volumes here. And here is the volume I created. Let's inspect this volume by docker volume inspect serving-data. This command gives us a detailed information about the volume. First, we can see the creation date, as you can see. Then we have the driver. By default, driver is local. The driver determines what type of storage manage the data. In our case, it's local because it's located in our host. The drivers also support network storage, remote storage, and also cloud storage. In our case, we use the default local storage. Now let's move to the next important field, which is mount point. This is very important. The mount point shows the actual location on a host machine where the volume driver is stored. Notice that the location is outside the container and the data physically exists in a host system, non-Linux. You can use this to find the volume, but on a Windows or Mac, we won't see the normal physical path like this, because on Windows and Mac, Docker runs inside the Linux virtual machine, and the volume are stored inside that Linux environment, so we cannot access physically to this path. Right now, this volume is empty because no container is connected to it yet. Now let's connect this volume to a container. So I right clear, and I want to connect Mongo container to this volume. So I use docker run -it because I want to run it interactive mode, and for defining and volumes we use -v, and then we specify the name of the volume, which in my case was serving-data, and then colon. And then we specify a path of the container, which we want these data become persistent. So I write the path app-data. If there is no folder named data or app, Docker automatically creates it. And now I specify the image name, which is Mongo, and I want to run in shell. So the container is started and I created and I access the shell. So I go to data app folder and then to data folder. And here I want to create a file. Let's first use the ls to see what is inside the data folder. It is empty. So I create simple file and write serving style coding inside it by this command. The file name is serving.txt. Now if I press ls, you can see that the file is existed inside the app.data. Now I press I write exit to exit the container. Now I want to remove this container to see if the data is gone or not. So I write docker ps-a, and that is my newly created container. So I delete it with docker rm and -f to force it to remove. Now let's create a container again with the same volume. And let's move to app and data folder, and let's type ls. And as you see, the serving.txt exists even I remove the container, which is very awesome. Another powerful feature is that we can store one volume between multiple containers. Now let's exit here, and I want to create another container with another image, and I wanted to use this volume for this image too. So I run interactive mode and I use the same volume, which is serving data. At this time, I want to change the path, so I write serving app serving, and also I want to change the image name. I want to run Mongo Express in shell mode. I forget to add -it here, and here, if I go to this folder, which is serving, I can access the serving.txt file as you can see here. If we need multiple volumes for a single container, that is also easy. We simply define multiple V options like docker run -v volume 1 and, for example, app, and the second container, that another -v, another volume name, and another path, for example, app2. Each volume gets mounted into their own directory inside the container. So far, we've been using the docker run command to create containers and attach volumes. But in real-world projects, usually work with Docker Compose. So now let's move on to the Docker Compose and learn how to define and attach volume. First of all, we need to decide which volumes our project needs. So inside the Docker Compose file, in the same level of the service, right here, volumes, and here we list all the volumes we need to create. I want to create a volume named MongoDB-serving, and we have to add the colon. You can specify here a driver name. For example, you can write driver local, and because the default driver is local, there is no need to specify it manually. But if you use another driver, or you want to use the custom driver, you can write it here. After writing the volume names, it's time to add the volume for each of the service which needs the persistent data. I want to add the volume for MongoDB containers. So here I write volumes. As you can see, it is written at the list, which means we can attach multiple volumes to a single container. The syntax is simple. First, we write the volume name. In my case is MongoDB serving. I copy and I paste it here, and then colon. For MongoDB, we want the database file to survive when after the container is removed. So when we check the Mongo image inside the Docker Hub, as you can see here, the path for storing the database data is /data/db. So I write the path just here, that data-db. This is where the MongoDB stored data inside it. Now let's test it. Let's go back to the terminal, and with Docker Compose up, I create all my containers. As you see, let's create a database named servingdb, and let's create a collection named users. And now let's add another new user, which name is serving. Let's check it again inside the database. As you can see, it's created. Now let's stop the containers by running the Docker Compose down. As you can see, all of my containers are removed. Now let's start it again with the same command, Docker Compose up. Let's go back again to Mongo Express. And as you can see, my data is still here, and which means our MongoDB data is now persistent, and thanks to Docker volumes. That's it for Docker volumes. Now you learn how to persist data, how you can share data between containers, and how you can protect your application from losing the important data. In the next video, we will continue making the production-ready Docker setup. So see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.